Alright. Before this all starts, let me warn you. I am not a doctor, nor of a man who is 100% smart on everything, despite Biuachu has called me uneducated. But overall, this video is meant to state my case and to defend myself. It's clear that those clowns think they can get away from this narrative and get away scot-free. I beg to differ. So, you all get what you deserve. Geo, Z, Cyan, Leafy, and Max, Biuachu, Haley, you made your choice. You get to live with it. Well, how's that moral high ground working out for you? I'm sure you all heard the news by now, but if you haven't, then don't worry. I'll explain it to you once we cut to beige. Now, there has been a lot of people making statements about the whole issue, ranging from calm to meditating to simpering and carrying. And I know you did not come to a Hamhi video to hear a lecture about the importance of forgiveness without atonement. Instead, we're going to explain the truth of how dumb and pathetic Geo, Zhite, Cyanide, Max, Haley, Biuachu, and Zuko, and the many other people who simply follow them. Especially Zach, who I'm very disgusted about. It's just, I can't understand why they brought this, and it only happened in less than a month. But most importantly, they think I did this for some clout. Out of all the years I've done, leaving them in the dark, and of course, removing from the #1 public face of the game during all my time. All because they can't agree to disagree. Let's start with Zico's pathetic dominant, who really tried the hardest to label me as a pedophile and call me out on nothing but what have I already talked about and shows. Based on slide number 2, as you can see, Zico's main agenda was to call my server out as a hostile and unwelcoming server, and as to try to call me a child predator. Zico at a glance seems like a normal person, and only to start attacking me and anyone in the server and try to push this narrative and try to cause issue. Keep in mind, he only joined the server only a few days ago, lurking like a rat. It is pure insanity that he tried to say that I was going after Haley, where I rarely have any DMs, as you can see in Sunsworth's old video that he posted a while ago, a few weeks. And I really don't have much of a conversation with her, despite that she called me an asshole and tried to dictate pronouns to my face, acting immature and trying to make me bow down to their agenda. It's just funny how people show their true nature, knowing for the fact that I've done nothing wrong, despite the mod team saying I am making hate speech and being transphobic. And the sad part is, most people try to believe them because, you know, they're mods. What else are you gonna say? Are you gonna deny the mods? Because if you deny them, they're gonna think you're not telling the truth and they're gonna attack you. It is unbelievable he took this one single statement, which was a reply to another person, said I enjoying to talking to Haley, to assume that I was going after her. It makes zero sense, and let's not forget the small part where he claims that he never called me a pedophile, which is a lie, because as you can see here, they called me like that, like a clown, trying so hard to push this narrative. So hard that they get desperate, trying to cause issues for me and the community. Zico is nothing but a robot minion to Zhite, and let's not forget, because Zhite is the only mutual friend based on what that person is, based from what people have called out. It's very funny that they're all buddy minions, because they're all together like they're a little social group. That's what they are. Nothing but a dumbass and just following orders. It's pathetic. The next part was the joke about the death of Technoblade. I don't even know this person, first of all. I don't even play Minecraft. Yet they think we're making death jokes. All I know is that he passed away from cancer, apparently. But they try to make it look like we were doing pure malice, and I don't even know. It was clear that Zeke's was clearly a zombie working like a bitch dog to Zhite, trying its pathetic sad attempt, and they have the nerve to act like that. Yeah, even try showing proof, but dismiss it as they were saying it's a half-assed story. Do you ever heard of the term dance law? Here's a simple example. You can be as snarky as you like, but in fact, it's an old rule in debate. As long as there has been a debate, that the first person who cannot reply in a logical manner and instead resort to punching, making faces, attacking the person, etc., has in fact conceded the argument. If you insist that you won the argument already, you probably lost already, badly. This is exactly what this garbage person is trying to do to me and attack my community. And just like this document, and even this Geo's document, oh don't worry, we're not forgetting about his special paper. We will get to that soon enough, after I rip this hot piece of trash out of existence. It's just so... I can't, it's ridiculous. It's pure garbage that they try to act like that to me. Just because they can't agree to disagree and they think, oh, because the transgender and the bathrooms, which we will get more deeper into this topic. And now we go over the topic, which is actually refreshing, as I wanted to explain this sooner or later, and now this is a perfectly good time. Let's go back in time, let's say 5 or 6 years ago, around 2015 or so. Then myself and people who've been with Vh3 from the start and to its downfall, to anyone who witnessed knows how toxic and unforgiving the community was over the years. And Zach was very antisocial. I have a testimony from a person who's been very active to Vh3 itself and overall from my side.
When it comes to Hamhi's Vh3 Explorer account, I heard this side of the story that he himself told Zach and the Vh3 moderation team about. As all the people know, Vampire Hunters 2 was starting to get in a pretty bad state around the end of 2017 when it comes to exploiters. They were just ruining players' experiences, crashing the servers, and so on. Hamhi's friend and introduced him to Cyan apps while it was still fairly new, before even it had its own shop and website. Also before FE was added to Roblox games. And considering the fact that Hamhi was pretty upset and disappointed with the way Vh3 was going in, he decided to try the software out. Therefore, he was convinced that he could be vigilant within the Vh3 community to try and fight the exploiters and toxic players, so he can somewhat make the game playable and enjoyable for the players again. This entire thing was happening before Vampire Hunter 3 was even announced, before Zach offered Hamhi to be a moderator for Vampire Hunter 3. When he did eventually become a mod, the account has not been used ever since, and a year after receiving a mod within Vh3, Hamhi personally asked Zach if he could become a mod in Vh2 as well, so that this time he could legitimately try to cleanse Vh2 from its toxicity with the exploiters, and he did a pretty damn well job trying to achieve it. Though keep in mind, this is Hamhi's side of the story that he already told both Zach and Vh3 moderation team about. Vh3 Exploiter account has now been inactive for over 4 years, so saying more stuff on this topic would just be adding fuel to the fire and beating a dead horse if you ask me. A lot of people can agree that Vampire Hunters 2's downfall started to happen around the end of 2017 and early 2018, and I myself, who had played the game since 2015 up until it shut down in 2021, can agree with that. It's been known that the game did not have a moderation team up until 2020, and I really don't fucking know why. In my opinion, it was not the exploiters, the mass teamers, or the glitchers that had ruined Vh2. It was Zach himself who had ruined the game for one single reason: no communication with his community. Upon the release of Vh2, the game had no moderation team at all. The only person who could ban exploiters and rule breakers was Zach, which obviously didn't work out pretty good. Plus, the only way you had any chance of reaching out to him was by personally DMing him on Twitter, since Discord wasn't a thing at the time, or you could write a complaint on his YouTube videos or in the Vampire Hunters Roblox group, which were both very, very unlikely to get the attention from him. The community begged him to do something about the glitches, to do something about the exploiters, and to fix the game when he was needed the most. But instead he left it to rot, which turned Vh2 into a toxic wasteland that people unfortunately remember it for. If he had more communication with his community, and if he chose to do something about it, then the community would not have become the very thing that was ruining it. It wouldn't have become as toxic, it wouldn't have been the reason of the game's shutdown. Only if he chose to listen to us. His lack of communication is also very apparent in the Vh3, considering the fact how low he interacts with his player base, and in my opinion, that is not the way you manage a healthy community. This message is not from Hamhi, it is from me, and from my own personal view.
And with that being said, overall, that to the mod and Zach himself, please keep in mind, Zach knows and pardoned. He forgave and pardoned my actions. And it was never used for malice, but for my personal justice. As you could see, that account has not been used in 4 years. I have moved on from the Vh2 game itself and have been a productive mod for Vh3 and Vh3 Discord to the best of my abilities. It's just ironic how this is all played out, and it's clear she, and I mean Z, who tries to get some revenge out of this. This is pure funny how she tried to do this, but will never show the true context of it. While you will see the whole proof when they pardon and all that. Now, we can all agree that Zhite is just an insane person who is a minion and a dog to Zhite overall. And let's not forget, Zhite contributed to it, which means that they are okay with what Zhite was trying to post and even did not feel right knowing that Zhite is friends with the Vh3 mod, who has clearly helped on this. Since you've seen the slides yourself, and this really paints this picture, but also becomes a social justice warrior. And the fact is you really want someone as a mod to any platform, someone who clearly pushes their gender ideas to the game server, where the Vh3 game itself is where we're supposed to play and, you know, play games. No, she thinks she's a saint. Is this someone you can trust? Someone who clearly is honest to not push the agenda because they're triggered, because they can't handle that someone can agree to disagree, because there's always going to be in the world that someone will disagree with you. That does not mean they are licensed to hate. Just because they can't agree with you, keep in mind, she bugs me every now and then, starting from 2 years ago, stating about the whole thing, just because apparently I misgender F-on, even though F-on never talked to me. But no, Z couldn't help it. She couldn't. She can't. Because it was in her nature to be like that. A little bitch, apparently. It's unfortunate that she continued like that. You know, it's just, you have no idea how much they continue seeing. It's like an alarm clock they keep saying. Every hour, every day of the entire life. It doesn't make sense. It's just bull. You know, I think we're finished talking about Zika's clown already. You already know most of what the fuck is proof of all of that stuff. And if you want to know more details about it, you can see on Sanswork's video detailing about that. Now, let's get to the main event, shall we?
Fake stories without checking facts first.
The sharing of biased and
false news has become all too common on social media.
More alarming, some media outlets are true without checking facts first.
Unfortunately, some members of the media use their platforms to push their own personal bias and agenda to control exactly what people think. And this is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
Let's get to Geo's document and show how much of an idiotic people they have become and his lackeys. So Geo and Z and Cyanide and their minions address to the Vh3 community that Vampire Hunters 3 is a safe space for the LGBTQ+. We help keep the community safe and do not want it to be an unsafe space for people who identify in that community. The Order themselves are also in that community and want to keep a safe place for anyone who's queer or non-conforming genders. Remember, if you dislike or are against it, you are free to leave. No one's holding you. What about people who are not part of that community? What about the people who are just normal and wanted to relax and play the video game? They don't want to hear your bullshit. And let's not forget that Zach says he's active in the community, but he rarely talks. He rarely talks to anyone. Just because he says it doesn't mean he's part of it. It's pathetic and it's disgusting. Now, why do I feel like this is some repetitive trend that seems to be keep going on and on? Oh wait, there is. There is already some stuff that they're leaving in the wind. Sure, they care about the LGBTQ or whatever the hell next number or letter they're gonna add in the next decade, but what about those who are clearly not in those categories? What about the usual people? You don't seem to care regardless overall. Instead, they witch hunt and of course attack users both Discord and in-game using their perks. And no one was gonna stop them. They're so used to having the ideal that no one's gonna say anything back, and overall more or less just flat out ignore the bigger issue. And it just ended up being me or John to clean up the mess that they failed to fix or even address. So much that they brought up the whole definition of a transgender. The definition of the transgender in their eyes: transition to another gender. Remember, this does not affect or change the biological sex or chromosome or more than what they present or identify yourself as. They for real can't look up a simple dictionary for this! Transgender, denoting or relating to a person whose sense of personal identity and gender does not correspond with their birth sex. You see, that wasn't so hard. They like to use this very biological stuff because when they said something about chromosome, they're wrong. It's just absurd that they make it so they can't make it simple and less complex for the general audience overall, but still tries to sound smart and still trying a hard way to explain their points. It's not the first time people will bring it up, and certainly won't be the last. I mean, for my sexuality, I mean, I'm gay myself, but you don't see me express it. That's not all sunshine and rainbows, like some people do. Z, transgender and biocargo. I mean, it's not like they're trying to say, look at me, and yes, you have to deal with it. While I have done nothing of that of the sort, and have not regularly, especially in the Vh3 game server. Now, the question is, why do people do this? In most cases, when someone who's suffering from gender dysphoria or gender identity disorder, because it is a thing. It is the short definition of someone who's feeling discomfort of the gender of what they were assigned at birth because they were born with it. As in the case, let's say a male is born, you know, they have the male genitalia, and they think they're not male for some reason. Now, we can understand that this does create some discomfort. Like it's like for a trans woman, we know that her biology is gonna be dubbed male. That's what the state says, that's what science says. They were male at birth, but still wants to identify as woman. The thing is, most of the stuff is just wrong, especially not to the gender transition part, but those are very real. We know this because some people physically did irrational surgery, and we will get to that part one sec. The example is pure wrong, and it just wants you to eat that up and think that's the truth. If you are born male at birth, you are biology male, and vice versa for female at birth as well. If they do the surgery, they are still the same sex from birth, only pushing their gender ideals to other people overall, and it's just not right. People like Geo, Haley, Cyan, and Biuachu, thanks to them, thinks this is the truth. It is not the truth. I'm not saying it's my truth. It is the truth. Let's get that clear. And it's used for so many years in society, which is funny how Zach thinks I'm bringing society down for hate speech and being transphobic. We all know that he's a puppet and overall. And the thing is, they're gonna continue saying this. They're gonna deny the logic. They're gonna deny the statistics. Because either one, they are brainwashed and think that this is the actual truth and will tell anyone otherwise the same thing and will not question about it, or two, will know that it's bullshit but will fake ignorance so they don't want to get or avoid getting targeted. This is what society is nowadays. Either you accept it or get hated. This is what we are in this world today, and it should not be like that. And of course, we have the three, which is they are raised currently and hold their points to the heart and genuinely think this is the right answer. Oh boy. We are actually going to tackle this document in several points, so feel free to pause and rewind if needed to make sure nothing is left unspoken for. Now, Overall, for example, this photo is about me saying Zhite is female, which is true. Why, you ask? Because she DMs people about her gender idea, making it clear, and says it's an eye-opener. When in better context, it's more like, you better watch what you say, because that's kind of what the kind of shit is. We know she is born a female, let alone is enough to showcase the part that she thinks that I'm doing this for revenge? Is such a weak excuse. I have no hate or intended malice by saying these statements, as they are nothing but the plain truth. And frankly, annoying. This is exactly what I was talking about at the very beginning. Because remember, Z will not stop. I feel sorry for her the most. Out of all these people, I truly feel sorry for her because I feel like she will be the one who will take it hit the worst. Because she already, just like in her little picture she sent, she's already taking the hormones. I'm willing to give her 10 years to see how that goes. And then if she ends up deteriorating from her body, or she ends up with a broken liver or spleen or anything that goes against her organs, they get no sympathy because they're just destroying themselves, especially if they want to mutilate themselves with the surgery. That's like the final step to those people. And I could care less because that's them. They can do what they want. I don't want to hear their shit trying to spew it on me. Because remember, she did this lecturing 2 years ago from when the hell started, when I somehow misgendered F-on. Keep in mind, I have no issues with them. And she comes up being a social justice warrior, tries to lecture about gender, and I immediately shut her down. I told her to be like, okay, this is the world of the internet. There will be a lot of people. 1, people will accept it, but won't admit it to you that you're wrong because they don't want to deal with that issue. 2, people will attack you as you make yourself an easy target, especially when you try to lecture someone about gender ideology like an idiot. No one asked you to do that. And 3, people will simply not care. Ever since that 2-year gap when she first started lecturing me, that's all she ends up talking about. It's funny how we go back to normal conversation and then she comes back acting like this when she's better. It's like always having to have the last remark. Boo-hoo! Get a backbone, knowing that you're only an admin now because you have insurance. I am not the worst. Let's that be clear in your view. I am not the villain that you think I am. And it's pathetic that you controlled Zach like a puppet, as well as Cyan, Geo, like a pathetic minions and all that. It's just so fucking pathetic. Now then, this screenshot was 2 years ago from a person between me and Caroline, aka Rennie, aka 4YXC, aka Kelp, aka the most manipulating, pathological, lying bitch, who also joined my server and started drama and started attacking someone who made the emotes in art and tried to insult me over their pathetic attempt to context and all that. It's just pathetic and all that. I don't understand why she decided to do that, because whenever, let's be clear, she went to the Vh3 server and raided. She raided the Vh3 server with gore or whatever Nazi propaganda and all that shit. And she's not very nice. And anyone who's still talking to her, I advise you to keep quiet because they will find something on you. And if you cross on their bad side, more or less they will try to target you. Now, I have a funny part when they did this. They said in their little thing, you wouldn't feel too happy if someone calls you a woman even though you are a man, so why do the same? Frankly, because I don't give a fuck. And you continue thinking like that. It's so stupid that you continue thinking of that mindset. Is there something that's not true? I get misgendered a lot due to either my personal body or my voice. And I really don't consider that because, you know, I have different pitches. I can go lower or higher. It really depends on the mood I go by. But I know for a fact that I could totally pass as a female if no one was given zero context of who I am. And I don't care because what can we expect them to know that I'm male on first glance when they don't order? Let's, for example, I go to a simple McDonald's drive-thru. You know, when you drive up, go to the pay station, and the speaker says, "May I take your order?" And this happens around 75% of the time. I say, "May I have a number 2 with no pickles and a strawberry shake?" There is a high chance the operator besides that screen will assume I'm female from my voice alone. And I do feel triggered or feel offended. I laugh it out because it's funny, because it's just how it is. I don't fucking get triggered because of those losers who continue thinking like that. They get shocked or surprised, sure, when they see me, but I don't hate them. Nor do I say hateful things. That happens by pure nature. And if you do not know who the fuck I am, would you assume that I'm female? It's just pure garbage. In fact, by the user of the name Free Hugs, a very high level from the community, states in their testimony that they have gone too far, and of course they know how much they try to get away with it.
Alright, so this is FreeHugs95 here, one of the highest players in Vh3. I see what's going on in the Discord, and I really feel like you guys went too overboard. I completely understand that, like, how you guys are dealing with this. I understand how you guys are upset and everything. But you guys I feel like you guys went a little bit too far in a way, because Hamhi has really helped in Vh3 a lot. I'm noticing he's been doing a lot of things. I understand that people, when they're with the transgender and I get that people are sometimes have their own opinions, but it doesn't really, I feel like it really doesn't, you didn't really need to go like way beyond, because it's just upsetting a lot of people. It even upsetted me when I found out. The reason for this is because I play a lot of games in general. Video Roblox games, other games. I had games where I haven't even talked and people called me a female. And I would sit there like it's okay in my head because they think I'm female, but I'm actually male IRL. It doesn't really bother me because if you think about it, people will sometimes accuse you of being other genders, which is kind of fine. I understand people will get offended on it, which is why you need to make your point across. And then with this these other instances that is happening, I don't really. That's why one of the reasons people ask me why you don't talk much in Vh3 is one of those reasons, because I just feel like if I say the wrong thing, something will happen, and I will regret it. So good luck, I guess, with the rest of your staff. I feel kind of like iffy in a way. Like I feel like I'm actually debating whether to leave or not, in my opinion. But I just wanted to get my point across, and I apologize if I offended anyone. I do get a little bit of your issue with that, but I still feel like you guys should have at least resolved it. Maybe perhaps be like, listen, at this and this and this point across, because I am actually staff in one of these servers, and I had people who went off on me like because of some other things, and like I had to talk with them to help resolve it. Because opinions sometimes matter. If you have your own opinion, it is fine to say it, but if someone gets offended over it, you can talk about it and why it's gonna be wrong. Not exactly like just kick them for that reason. I would understand like each other get mad over it, but after a while it'll resolve itself, as long as you guys talk over it, because if you don't, it's just going to get worse and worse and worse and worse. So that's my personal opinion, and I apologize. So that's all I have to say, and I wish you guys the best of luck.
I just don't like the fact that they can't get their head out of their ass. They overthink things and then act too rash, which ends in somebody getting harassed or hated. They don't act mature, and instead of solving the problem and listening to other people's stories, they just ban them altogether and won't listen at all. It's happened twice now, and it's a pain in the ass to see their snide little comments about the situation as if they're not the one at fault here. That's all I'm going to say about it.
Well, you know how Max said that Hunter Sense can only get you banned if you are annoying with it. That isn't true. Yoshi got banned for unironically saying it without context in game chat. And I got banned on spot for saying it once. They are capable of banning you for rules that aren't even enforced. They make up rules, don't enforce them, and if you break them without knowing, you are banned. Zhite also mutes people for speaking their own language. I got muted for a day for speaking Russian. Didn't bypass or some, just a general conversation.
The Vh3 moderators have been getting worse every day. They false banned me for saying Hunter Sense. I was given a 7-day ban for such a minor thing. It's a joke. The fact that they think that ban was allowed and not unfair shocks me. Fast forward later, I am with my friends, joke about this ban saying, oh, Hunter Sense is a slur, don't say it too, just random stuff, then, a DM from Jer, banning me for 30 days from the Discord for harassing, when I barely talked to that person. My about me and status were the joke of Hunter Sense and nobody controls your bio status. The Vh3 mods do not even let you have a simple status bio even though it's not anything bad.
Well, Cyan, Z, and Geo are all trying to shut me up because I rebel against actions I don't find reasonable with. I've had issues with Cyan because of communication and her leaks about the GDM. Z has been making me stressed and making it seems I'm being disposed of secretly. Geo is also doing the same but in a more rude way. Z has had enough of my paranoia to the point she ignores me. Cyan has blocked me because we have different views.
Alright. So I'm just gonna get straight to the points. At first, when I didn't really see you much on the Vh3 server for about almost the whole month. And then I was in a Vh3 server with my friends and they were like, oh, have you heard about the Hamhi situation? He got banned from the Vh3 server queues of the staff arguing with him and yada yada, and I remember watching her lastest video and listened to the last part and I kinda got the puzzles together and it made much more sense to why you've been gone. TBH, I did kinda slide it off for a bit and then I joined your Discord server. I heard your side on VC and everything added up. Like it all clicked. I completely understood why you got banned. But yeah, you may have made some jokes, but if you didn't really actually meant for that joke, then it wouldn't remember be taken that seriously, right? Vice versa, if you did make that joke and you actually meant it, then that'd probably be a serious issue and think it's pretty fucking satire. In my case and opinion, I don't really think you're wrong and nor do I really care about what the Vh3 staff do. I am sorta neutral on this, just slightly on your side, you know? But when I also heard that you got banned from the fucking game, I definitely knew they crossed over that red line. I mean, what are you gonna fucking do in a Roblox server? Spit out the drama that's been going on? Vh3 is a fun game and I'm sure you really do enjoy the game as well, but I don't think you deserve to get banned from the game. It was something between you and the staff community, nothing about the game. OFC, I'm not saying it's the end of the world and shit and Hamhi won't be making Vh3 content anymore. You have other things and ideas to do and everyone else will support you. User content is cool and fun the way it is, and if it's just one game that got you banned, you're definitely not done yet.
The next point is about this statement. What if the woman has intersex parts when they are born? Is it still a woman when they present themselves as a woman and fully identify as a woman? And if they aren't born with that part, the answer is yes, because that is how they identify. And they put a little thing, gender = sex. Okay, first of all, they're idiots. I love how they use this argument because it's convenient for them. And that's all they say. They don't care about I don't think they care about them because it's a very low percentage. It's such a lame point to show their point is right. Yes, there is intersex people. However, it's a vast low percent of these people being, existence, in which a person is born with both reproduction or the sexual anatomy that does not fit the boxes of male or female, in which a person is, having both parts, which is ironic because this is not talked about a lot. Compared to the transgender agenda, they don't talk about it. We're not talking about sexuality. We're talking about gender alone. Overall, let's be clear on that. Some of us says that the parents decide what sex they should do and do surgery, which is not even actually okay either because they're still young, growing, and they need to be learned because remember, if they were born with that, it's probably more likely a genetic mutation, and it's not different when someone who has an extra arm or an extra finger or an extra toe in their feet or a bionic color of their eye or hair. It's just, I love that they just do this. They really think they try to think of this whole thing and they think surgery is the answer to fix it. They don't talk it out. The fact that Geo and his minions use this statement is pretty much, it's just hot garbage at this point. And they really use this edge case because they're saying if you want to use this case, then you have to use it for all these cases. But they're not gonna do that. They're not gonna do that. I know them. So they need to get that thumb out of their asses if they're trying to defend with that shit. The fact that they keep doing this for transgender in regards of the suicide rates are high. It's insane why people are not talking about this in this fashion because they know it's a touchy subject. Let's get this straight to the point. Having someone who has a gender dysphoria or gender identity dysphoria is not okay because these people are asking for help and they feel the stress from it. I can't imagine how that would feel. Let's say a female who thinks they're male. They think they are male and yet their whole body is female and they suffer every day feeling like this, either stress, maybe the fact of depression, and that's what leads to that kind of suicide. It's what leads to this reason. It's what makes it so stressful from every day, from every hour to every minute of their lives. And we want to help them. But our help is different from their help because their kind of help is, oh, you need surgery. That's the only way to make yourself feel better. No, that is not the fucking answer. It is not the solution. The fact that Zach said himself thinks it is the only solution, I just stopped talking because I know there's no way for me to have a simple conversation with him, especially after some recent information that I was disgusted by him. They think that if we just accept their whatever they want to be called, they think their problems are going to go away. We've been doing that for a while now. So far, no results. If those suicide rates are not going down, you will not convince me otherwise of how stupid and pathetic you're trying to do, especially to children. Like 6-year-olds, 5-year-olds, 10-year-olds. Why are you doing this to children? It's like you're staring at evil, like some sort of evil presence. You're staring at some sort of a cult. That's pretty much it. And it's very traumatic for someone because you just can't do that. You really can't. It's funny, like for example, the whole Caitlyn Jenner, where she threatened some guy because she was like, you either go with the body bag because of what chromosome. Oh, and don't worry about the screenshot because there will be a lot more of all that kind of stuff when we have to cut down the garbage trying to enforce the bullshit to anyone. Anyways, what's left? Oh right, the alleged call about me calling the LGBT stupid, in quotes. Let me be clear on that, on why I say the community is stupid. I mean the amount of times that the fucking LGBT community have become violent and have become hostile to anyone who opposes them. Either verbal assault or downright physical attacks or throwing shit at people. It's not the first time it has happened, especially when a straight pride parade happened in Boston, I believe, and it was the first time the whole parade organizer was to raise awareness that the issue is that the LGBT has been violent and they get triggered because of it, while the straight people are actually enjoying their stuff. Some view the parade as a joke and others see it as a threat and they're trying to police them down. It's just, It's so dumb. This is not why. This is exactly why I don't want to be part of it. Because just because I'm gay, they assume I'm part of that. That they think I'm a violent person. What, because I'm gay? No, that's so stupid. And in the case we're not forgetting about the trans people, even some trans friends that I have know that I'm not 100% wrong, because I know I'm still trying to fight for both parties, because I know that someone abuses this concept wrong. It's just so dumb. And they might think I'm just lying out here, but it's so fucking stupid. Oh boy. What else am I missing here?
Capture the flag, sweetheart! Well, glad that's over. Now we can get back to civil, rational conversations devoid of any future felony assaults, right? Right?
A woman who is told, if you're assaulted, please go to the authorities, they will handle it. And then someone in a privilege of power, let's say a cop or an attorney or whatever, they ask the question, well, what were you wearing that night? That permeates.
Which is bullshit,
It is bullshit.
I'm so sorry. And
Sorry.
you think rape culture is a fucking
Can you just wait? We'll have a conversation afterwards.
I agree with you wholeheartedly.
There's no conversation that needs to be had. Rape is fucking serious. Rape has happened to me 4 fucking times, and I'm sick and tired of this fucking debate. Men need to respect women, period.
So you should respect women.
I'm sorry, I am a woman, so fuck you if you don't think so. I don't really have time for this. And I don't have time.
My
No,
mistake.
You're going to let me speak because here's my truth. I've been raped
Your
4
privilege.
times. I've known women that have been raped multiple times gruesomely. And how dare you sit up here and try to say that women aren't worth respect? Fuck you.
I didn't say that.
I am a woman. I just became a woman. It's just like, are you fucking kidding me? People don't even respect me, period. And I'm already black, so it's just like, yeah, that already goes against me anyways. But still, you piece of living garbage ass dumpster fire. Dumpster fire! Trash gum on the bottom of my shoe. Oh my God, I wish I had a tissue for the blood. I would
Sure. Might I suggest it's your behavior, not because you're black or a woman.
I'm sorry. Can I stop here? Can I stop here, please? She has just made a statement about being assaulted, which is very vulnerable and it's very scary to do.
She just called me a...
I understand.
Yeah, the
I understand.
gentleman just called me a piece of shit, so I'm saying that's... Sorry, my mistake. So when did she go from male privilege to female privilege? Because she just said she only became a female recently.
It wasn't okay, the approach that she made, but it also wasn't okay to antagonize
How did I
us.
antagonize?
If we're going to have a conversation, let's go back to what we were originally talking
Well, no,
about.
I think this is important because I think that's an example of female or trans privilege right there.
Because you weren't helping the situation, so I brought us back.
Well, it's not about helping the situation, it's about being truthful. Truth matters.
I'm going to finish saying my truth.
Okay, go ahead. Your truth. Let's hope it's the truth and not what that lady was saying.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
Yeah, I believe that's a man.
That woman, very upset, made very valid points.
Made 0 valid points. So let me ask you this. Define woman.
Woman?
What is a woman when we're talking about men's privilege, rape culture? Define woman for me so I don't get it wrong.
Well, a woman is any person who defines herself as. If you're looking at biologically speaking, a woman is someone who has female parts. Her anatomy is that of a vagina and having just female parts.
Because you said biologically female parts. Obviously, our friend there wouldn't have that. So would that be included? Okay, but that's your definition of it.
That's one definition of it.
What's your definition of it? So that way I'm not stepping over any bounds. What's your definition?
Any person who uses the pronouns she, and who identifies as such. Okay. I respect what they identify themselves as.
So that's an example of female privilege there.
Mm-hmm.
If that's a man, we treat them very differently, and I'm sure you're aware of this.
Oh yeah, it's not
There's
fair.
accountability between men.
Oh, absolutely. A country where guilty until proven innocent, yes, we'd be rotting in a jail. But I know of. Ooh, I know of a story just recently, and I'm sorry I can't say the name of this individual.
Come on, that's inappropriate, sweetheart.
You feel better?
Oh, are you offended by what I said?
No, I just don't think it's necessary. Aren't you just feeding into it?
You do realize that's a violent crime, correct?
You're fine.
Ah, so because there's no damage done, it's fine. Okay, understood.
Just recently...
That doesn't bother you. What if that were a man? Because that's a woman. Wouldn't bother you?
Not at this moment.
Okay.
I
think you might need to check your own privilege and bias.
Alright, my fear reduction video. In case you did not see the last part, there was a conflict of why they failed to see the video as to the server as a warning. And in less than one day, we got over 50 comments of Cyan and Zio being complete clowns in a nutshell. I had them removed because they're frankly pathetic, but you can see in the list down here of the kinds of things they try to do, and it's so dumb. They've already shown what I've already presented. They have nothing to show except cherry-pick screenshots, and I presented the full picture while they don't. And I will show the main screenshot at the end of the video between me and Zach himself. And they try to use it as evidence. It's cute that they think I'm such a threat that they kept it like so much that I got permanent banned from the game. And it's even more hilarious that Max confessed it. And he also said it felt wrong and he apologized. But guess what? I'm still permabanned from the game because they want to negotiate terms. That is amazing. They want me to leave Leafy out of it, which is no, because we know Leafy is nothing but a rat and likes to be a social justice warrior along with the rest. Because frankly, the main reason why Cyanide and Leafy got mod is so they can keep them on a leash and be on their good side as insurance. Why do you think not a lot of people hate them? Because they're criticizing assholes and they don't care about the whole thing. They either say, you either follow my word or you don't get a word at all. That's just basically it. And they want me to say sorry to Geo? Grow up. I'm not gonna say sorry to a person who literally likes to fucking wear a maid outfit showing their thighs and think it's appropriate to show that to the Vh3 server where there's kids. Grow up. You're fucking disgusting. It's more like I have not done. He's already disliked most of the time. Why do you think he abuses his perks? He kills an entire server if the round is interception or lockdown because he doesn't want to wait like a pussy and he doesn't want to admit that he's just abusing his perks. It's not the first time I talked to him about it and he just says, okay, take him away my mod. But I was being nice to say, for now, just don't do it again. He still does it and he still continues to abuse it to this day. And people wonder why everyone has it out for him because he's an idiot and he's a dope. That's what he is, a clear guinea pig for his own little gesture. It's all that. It's for bullshit reasons that I told Max that he is a coward. And I'm not gonna bow down to that. You can go fuck yourselves. You guys are pathetic. I am not going to say sorry for having my personal opinion and belief so you can grow up. Because here's the thing. This is my channel. This is my video. You can't stop me. You can't silence me. Sure, you don't like me, I like you less, but I have a voice and you don't here because I'm not letting you've already controlled your little thing. It's pathetic. And that's why my truth still prevails. Why do you think so many people left? Why do you think so many people did this? It's so stupid. Moving on. Now, overall, they think that the voices that what I said that was meant to protect, they failed to see the 4D chess that was being played. Let's go over the first voice. Yes, the first voice was me, but was it really me? Because what if I was reading a script that someone who voiced it so they don't get recognized and get targeted? Because it's clear that they targeted Canada, they clearly targeted Yoshi, they clearly targeted Simli, they clearly targeted anyone who clearly is against me or have some sort of etheria to it. They can't live knowing that someone's on their side thinking, oh, I don't think what they're doing is right. And they're like, what? What? You think I'm doing wrong? So you're transphobic. You're a hateful person. You're uneducated. You're a bigot. That's what you are, since you're not agreeing with me. You should get banned, muted, silenced, all that. Is this really okay? Is this really what the Vh3 mods are all about? This is really what you want? Because that's clearly what he is. Let's not forget, I got testimonies and a lot of people saying that they continue doing this. Yoshi got banned for 1 week saying Hunter Sense, and then he got a 30-day ban from the Discord. They're trying to silence even more. You can't say Hunter Sense, even though it was a clear inside joke. But someone was clearly being a butterfly and couldn't handle their pants because they got offended or slowly, even though it was an in-joke joke. They tried to censor it. You can't say it. I imagine you can't say it. Not to mention for the whole Hamhi thing, right? 4D chess at its finest. Let's get that to the fact that they think my community, my fan base is trying to attack them, which is clearly not wrong. It's wrong. I don't tell people to attack people. Why would I want them? After a few days after I got banned, let's talk to this case of Canada, who found my Twitter and talked to me 2 days after I got banned from the Discord. After a few days after I got banned, we talked, I told him my story, and he wanted to know what exactly happened. He wanted to know the truth. He wanted to investigate. In a way, he wanted to become a journalist for this case. And keep in mind, I never told him to do this. I never forced him to do all this. This was all on his free will. After I warned him that he could get targeted because, you know, they're not nice people and they get hated from the mods, Z ignored him. Geo acts like a 15-year-old bully who can't have a normal conversation. And of course, Cyan blocked him and even denied him of the summer collab who was hosted in her Vh3 server. Now, let's get very crucial about Cyanide. Now, there is one issue that he did make. He said he wanted to make a group chat, and I told him, why do you want to make a group chat? So he can have more information relayed. I told him, you do you, I don't want no part of it. And so she talked to Cyanide and started to say, hey, how do you feel about the Hamhi situation? From his words, she said she was neutral. And then for some reason, Canada added Cyanide to the group without consent. Like they just shoved it in. And I was confused, like, oh, hi, how are you doing, Cyanide? I told them my story that I've told in the future. And I will tell more details in the end of the video about my official case response. After the whole thing, yada yada yada, she started asking me, oh, am I gonna get revenge for Z or Geo? I told them, why would I want revenge? They're just defending their silly truth, just like I am. It's just unfortunate that they have the power to do like animals, while I wouldn't do that. I know if I have a higher power, I would not silence them. All I know is that I say take it elsewhere. I don't want to hear that shit, but they think I'm a threat, so that's why they removed me and all that stuff. And overall, after she started to hesitate, I asked her, what's wrong? You can tell me. I'm not gonna hate you. And immediately, boom, confession. It turns out she was the one who talked to Z and led to this whole drama. She started this whole thing, this whole shit show. That's how Zach got into this whole thing, because she was being a baby and did not talk to us. She told me I'm an asshole. She told me to go fuck myself and all that. And she finally showed her true nature. She also posted a video of a black guy saying the N-word. And I was like, wow, that's really the Vh3 mod herself? That's very nice. Yeah, that's very nice, because we know she was feeding information to Zhite because she already DM'd Canada in their own individual DM saying, what's going on? They know what's happening. I was like, well, I don't know. It's clearly that Cyanide's the one who's feeding information like the rat she is. And it's just unfortunate that the whole thing just collapsed. I told him after Cyanide left the group chat, like, you see, this is what happened. This is what she did. This is what she has done. And she thinks she can get away with that. She is nothing but a rat in sheep's clothing. Nothing but a pathetic bitch girl who continues acting like this. Who criticizes people's art, who likes to have the final say because she can't agree to disagree. Just like the whole Vh3 mod team. Now I told Canada, you see, this is what happens. I advise you to stop investigating. He did because he doesn't want to get targeted. But he's already been targeted and witch hunted and bullied by the Vh3. There's nothing I could do. He did this to himself. They think I'm some sort of evil overlord. And of course the other testimonies that comes in. It's like, it's so pathetic, really. I just feel sorry for them. The following says, the newer admins are not initially involved with the drama and forcefully had to strap in. Bullshit! The only newer admins were Cyanide and Leafy. I mean, sure, we're not gonna complain about Nether or Dementia. They just got in, even though for some reason there are rumors that the Dementia is siding with them. But we can't confirm or deny that he really is with them or not. All I know is that he did his own research from what people say, and he does his own thing. I don't hate them. I don't hate him. I don't hate the others. All I know is that the true monsters are Z, Geo, Zach, Cyanide, Haley, Kelp, the pathological bitch, and a lot of more stuff like that. It's just, those are the only things. It's bullshit. They're pulling the victim card that does not make you innocent. They are being disrespectful to those who do not fit what they agree on. Disagreeing does not give you the license to hate. They know what they did. It's best that they own up to it. And all these screenshots are to show that how they act like that. And for the people who are still listening and reading, do not let anyone dictate who you are. It's your choice. You make the choice to express yourself. You are allowed to express yourself as long as it's not harming anyone. And also, facts do not hurt people's feelings. Let that be straight for you idiots out there. This is simply not true because they are using Cyanide and Leafy as little guard dogs, insurance. That's what they meant from Sam's video. They are only biased. They gave the mod to them because they know they can keep them in their same agenda. That's just how it is. It's so dumb. It's so pathetic. Let's go over the main people who continue doing this, and it's just pathetic. Let's start with Leafy. Overall, she did came to my server stating she had no drama. She continues still talking, especially in Sansric video, saying all this. She really couldn't just shut up and try to lecture about feelings and words, only to leave knowing that no one was convinced and she was just there as a spy. It was pretty clear how she was, and basically a nobody at best. Very critical, that person. I don't know how she ends up living knowing she does this kind of stuff. The next one is Haley, a very, very volatile person. Huge social justice warrior who tried to dictate me on pronouns, telling me you should use their fucking pronouns, saying that I'm a bigot and all that. It's so pathetic, and so it's just disappointing. It's just, I didn't expect anything from her, but no, she couldn't handle it because she was a bitch acting like that, and she basically became one of those. It's funny how they slowly showed their true nature, knowing the fact that she continued acting like this even on all those. The next person is Biuachu. Do you remember this fan art? It was made for me, right? Well, guess what? I can't use it anymore. Why? Because she didn't feel comfortable using, or he, I don't even know what their gender is at this point. I know that Biuachu did not feel comfortable with me using it, even though it was made dedicated for me. I'm only going with what's based rights, even though I know nobody paid her, I still can't use it. And it just shows how petty they are. Funny enough, I was saying, let me tell you my story. She couldn't do it unless he had his boyfriend with it. Props to Biuachu's boyfriend though, because he seems more educated than fucking Biuachu himself. I don't understand why, even though I state the lots and facts. Unfortunately, I don't have the screenshots to show this because they made a group chat. And I was only at it and they kicked me out of it. No doubt using that as evidence even more. So, if by a chance they added me or if they deleted the group chat, you will always know it is never the full story unless I get back into it and I collect the screenshots myself. Next, moving on. Max. Max is nothing but a coward and a yes man who perm banned me, trying to demand that I negotiate with my ban. He wants me to say sorry, which is never gonna happen, and of course to cease the attack. He thinks that I'm telling my community to attack the Vh3 people. No, I've never told anyone this. I think we can all agree that the people who did those kind of stuff were fed up with their bullshit that they continue doing. That's just how stupid they are, and they're blind. Also, they keep thinking I'm the one who started the Hunter Sense thing. I don't know what that is all about, but they're idiots. I'm not gonna bow down on all that stuff. Moving on, Geo. Geo is nothing but a tyrant and more or less a kind of lazy person. He only does stuff when people are dressed, and he only attacks people who don't like them. He abuses his perks, so the first time he does this, and it won't be the last. It's clearly he likes to attack other people who don't agree with him. Next one is Zhite, a clearly delusional woman who thinks male is female and female is male and tries to shove gender ideology to people's mouths and refuse to have normal conversation. And let's be real, Z, you and me, man to woman, because I know that for a fact. You will never change my views, especially with your pathetic tactics. You clearly don't know how to agree to disagree, especially with your little followers. Like Control Cyanide. She's your guard dog because she likes to feed information to you because you can't get it yourself. And of course, when you try to show proof when others completely disagree with you because they know it's bullshit, you have nothing on me that I have not already shown to the world because they know you only show cherry pick screenshots. And I'm telling you right now, based on what you said to other people, when you say you were born female, so I was already correct, and you were taking hormones, puberty blockers, Lupin, all those kind of dangerous side effects, if you end up becoming what I think you will be, because I know you've already taken half the step, I hope you live as long as you can. Why? Because you're going to end up getting yourself hurt by the drugs you took. Your body will never be the same. And guess who was going to see that for yourself? Not me, not your friends, you. And I can't wait to see that happen because guess what? No one's going to care because you did that to yourself. You need to understand that you pushed this. You did this to your body. When you get older, I don't care what you do. I do care when you start telling people that this is the right thing. It's not. You're delusional. You're crazy. You're insane. And you need to get help. I wish you luck, Z. But to be honest, I think I'm already talking to a dead person. Because how you do this kind of stuff, you're killing your body. So it's just, I feel sorry for you. Like I said, I don't hate you. I don't hate the others. But I am disappointed on how you act and your actions. You're nothing but a child who still don't understand how things go. And you cry knowing how people will not always agree with you. Suck it up. Are you ready to end this? I know I am. And last but not least, we have Zach. I'm still conflicted with how his action is, not to the fact that he called me an unapologetic bigot and is okay with the tyranny that Cyanide, Geo, and Z has done throughout their server. The fact that he lied saying that we stepped down, more like we were forced to leave because of all that. And when Geo got mod, John wasn't having it because he knew it was bullshit. And guess what? It was not fair. Especially Zoe, who got banned too for no clear reason. And they did not have any provider proof. Zach is nothing but an antisocial person who don't understand what the community wants. He thinks I am raised wrong in my community and has thinking that I'm pushing society away than progressing. They see me as the villain. I spent almost 4 years on the server just because they can't accept that people will not agree. I'm not wishing people to hate. I'm not telling people to die. I'm not telling people that they should hurt themselves. No. I'm merely saying that what you are trying to say is wrong, and it will continue being wrong. And until those suicide rates are fixed, or until you end up finding a better solution, you will never win. You will always hurt people. And I'm not just gonna sit there and stand that. You did this to yourself, Zach, and I feel sorry for you. That's why I lost respect to you. And after some recent information, I'm kind of disgusted by your lifestyle. I don't understand why you... No one. It's no wonder you're like this. And I just feel sorry for you. You really need to be careful because not a lot of people like you. It's not the first time they don't like you because of what you did to Vh2. And now what you're doing to Vh3. We were both grown up in different culture. Very different, I can see that now. But you clearly think I'm the monster. You think I'm going to spread propaganda. You think I'm going to spread some fascist stuff. I'm not. I'm just stating my truth, my logic, and my case. I want you to understand that you will never be the same. And the community knows that too. I just hope you're ready for the aftermath though, because it's not looking nice. I feel sorry for you. Moving on. And so here's my final statement. I am not here to convince you. I am not here to make you pick a side. I am not here to tell you what to do. As you can tell, I have been banned for something so controversial that it's been considered taboo in our day of age in our community as a society. And these people will hunt down and strike them with either a mute, ban, dox, try to do anything to tarnish them. They called me a pedophile, they called me a racist, they called me a bigot, they called me uneducated, they called me transphobic, they called me that I am a hateful person. There's so much label that they've done. Don't you really think that this is a bit suspicious that they did all this? They're getting desperate. I feel sorry for them because here's the thing. I don't know all about them, but for me, this is nothing. You really think I'm hurt from this? You really think I'm hurt from this? I've handled worse. You're nothing. So grow up, play some video games, and enjoy what you have. Because you won't have that for long when you grow up. I'm more mature than all of them, by far. It's just so pathetic because here's what it is. It starts with just recognizing that the gender ideology is just pervasive. Toxic influence in our culture across the world. Across the Western world, anyways. You don't see that in Africa. You don't see that in China. You don't see it in Europe. You don't see that anywhere. Only in the West. Why? Because someone thinks it was okay to abuse that concept. And with all that in spite, it's been so successful in claiming so many minds but in reality, it's really quite hollow at its core. When it comes to gender ideology, for many people, it's about submission rather than exception. because accepting means that you are accepting it, you're affirming it, you believe it. However, some people are not going to question it because they're afraid, but not because they really believe it. And that one of the consequences of these ideas premeditating all of our powerful institution. It means if you are an average person on the street, then you will be severely punished for not accepting these ideas. This is not what society is based on. At any other point in human history, walking to the doctor's office and asking him to perfectly cut off a perfectly healthy breast or all that would promote some sort of mental health action against you. Today, it gets you a follow-up appointment, sends you to therapy. The doctors and therapists are not going to say anything because they don't want to lose their jobs. They don't want to get attacked. They may try to mute me, silence me, ban me, and try to frame me. And the fact that they think I'm the worst person alive, yet I make entertainment videos, not propaganda. I would literally rather be dead than gravel to those trans activists like this. Wouldn't even have a difficult choice. So you can hate me all you want, wish me to not exist, try to harm any way you see fit. But unfortunately, you won't control my tongue. And never will. If rules must be placed to just make you feel affirmed, and if dead naming and misgendering feels like a form of murder, and if you need the whole world to enforce your perception of yourself, perhaps you should consider why your self-identity is so incredibly fragile. Most of us don't have this problem. We aren't going to melt or die if someone uses the wrong name or pronouns. We are totally secure in our identity. We don't need anyone to affirm it. So why is your identity so brittle and flimsy and weak? Have you asked yourself this question? Is it really the kind that you want? And I ask you people, is this really the kind of people you want to be around, who try to convert and attack people who clearly is not part of their agenda? I've never told anyone to attack, nor said anyone of delete this harassment. And since Max perm banned me, it's not going to change anytime soon. My perm ban is a staple of their action. And they have pushed my hand so much. Thus, I have my one final demand. I want all 3 of my maps to be removed from Vh3. That includes Club Nebula, the Cathedral, and the Snow Bunker. I don't want my work to be associated with thugs who act like immature brats and social justice warriors who can't have a normal conversation. I don't want my work to be associated with such filthy people who have dark minds and all that. And you know you can't deny me of this. I paid for those maps. I've showed proof. And if you're going to deny me of this request, I'm not gonna stop. And I will continue showing how pathetic you are. Because at this point, if you deny me of removing my maps, that means you're a thief. And you stole my work that I do not give permission any longer. I do not want my work to be associated with you, nor its people. The maps were meant for the community, not for Zach and his little pathetic minions. It's not worth knowing this is their true nature. You know this. You can't hide from this. I will not say sorry to Geo and his pathetic tactics. Z will always gonna be a female to the world despite the delusion she acts towards me and anyone who disagrees with them. And keep in mind, she helped contributed Zico's docu, but says nothing about it, only to get revenge because of the Vh3 exploiter. Or Vh2 exploiter, I mean, which is pitiable. Cyanide is nothing but a rat and a spy that will always be a lapdog to them, no matter what. Leafy is trying to be a white knight, and even more when Max tried to get her out of this in this negotiation terms. Biuachu, who tried to deny me of the fan art. You really should have known better. But most importantly, to you, Zach, as someone who has followed your work for a while, is this really okay? Is this really what you want your mods to be comprised of? Tyranny? Fear-mongering? That it's not a healthy, safe space? These testimonies says otherwise. It's clear you don't know the full story, or perhaps you do, but you do nothing. You are so passive and stuff like this. And you say you were active, but this is not okay. So hear me, Zach. Remove all 3 of my maps ASAP. That includes nothing that relates to my work. I do not want any remakes that you can call your own, because we both know you are stealing. I lost respect to you and how you act, knowing that you pushed this and you allowed this to happen. You removed the person who spent almost 4 years doing what's best for you and the community to get this kind of treatment. I was the public face. I made the most content out of you for your game. I was their entertainment. I was their voice. I was their shield and sword. And you took it away with your deluded ideals. And I just feel sorry for you, but more or less disgusted. I don't like what I saw. And I feel like you are beyond help. And I don't want to talk to you. Because remember, these are children you are enforcing these ideals. Don't be the wrong influencer to these kids. Because I know in clear and day, I'm more acceptable than you and the other mods. Oh boy. And to the people who are still watching, it's up to you to how you feel. Am I really the bad guy? Am I evil? Should I suffer for free speech? Is this something you're okay with? I doubt it, given their action. Always be careful with what you talk to, because you'll never know how those people will be a spy and do all this. Like Cyanide, who started this whole thing. You are always welcomed in my community, and you will never get hated on your free speech, unlike those people who clearly enjoyed their monopoly. They will never get what they want from me, and this is my submission to their ridiculous ideology? Bullshit. It's ludicrous, and I just feel sorry for them. They will never learn from this world and will suffer from it. And you will be, and I will leave it up to you to see how it is, given now that these screenshots are unfiltered, untouched, and they were copied, because I know for a fact they will twist this. And so, I leave this to you. Read all of it if you really think I'm still a bad guy. I'm not. After this, I'm gonna go back to my normal content. They can't stop me. They never will. And so, to those who are still with me, to those who have supported me, and to those who will join me in the future, let us create a nice world that will be enjoyable for all. Unlike those losers who only have a community that will last maybe a few more years, only for it to die down. And so, I bid you farewell. Alright, let's see what we got here. I could do that. Let's put that on a pin for a project later. That would be nice though. Maybe Friday Night Funkin' project that I can finally put on. I'll give it 3 months. Let's see. I could make more Vh3 content. Yeah, this will do fine. I guess I can execute this. Alright, seems to be good. Why do I feel like I'm forgetting something? It'll probably come up later. At least it's over. Well, for me, of course, but I don't have to worry about those losers anymore. They can suffer for all they want.